now, just come on down to the show.
How's it going? Last episode we talked about ticks, which are the shortest interval of time in Minecraft. Today we're going to talk about how ticks result in unusual behavior when applied to parkour. For example, take a look at this 4-block jump setup that I showed you last time. To complete this jump, you might think that you could just run from the back of the block and jump at the end, but that's actually not possible. Running a 4-block jump from the back of the block without any other weird inputs is guaranteed to never make it, no matter how late you jump. The reason for this is that your last tick on the block is simply not far enough forward to make the jump. And if you run for another tick, then you just run off the block by then. The solution to this is pretty simple. You just need to move forward slightly before you start running. The question is, how far forward should you move? And this is where tap setups can help us out. The goal of tap setups is to consistently move forward by some amount. For now they may be inconsistent, but with practice they'll become very useful. We're going to start with the simplest one, which is the unshift tap. To practice it, build a setup that looks like this, and then go to the back of the trapdoor. To perform an unshift tap, all you have to do is tap W for 1 tick, and then let go immediately. No other input, so just tap W for 1 tick. Like that. If you do it correctly, then you shouldn't fall off the pane, and you should still be on top of the pane. But if you do it incorrectly and you hold it for too long, then you'll walk off the pane. The next tap timing is called a shift tap. For this one, you're going to need your coordinates to be enabled to see if you do it properly. First, go against the wall, and then look at your coordinates. One of your coordinates should be 3 or 7 and then end with a bunch of zeros. That's the number you want to pay attention to. Now to perform the shift tap, it's pretty much the same as the unshift tap, but you need to hold shift the entire time. So first hold shift, and then just tap W for 1 tick. If you do it correctly, then the coordinate that ended with a bunch of zeros should now be 0.35 or 0.64. If you got 0.64, then you started on the opposite side. Say it says 0.64. If you got any other number, then that means you got the timing wrong, so you should give it another try. The last tap timing I'm going to show you is called an air shift tap. You can use the same setup you built before for this one because you're still going to need your coordinates enabled. Line up with the wall, hold shift. Now you're going to do the same timing, but you're going to do it in the air. So jump and then mid-air tap W for 1 tick. Like that. And you can see now it says 0.31 instead of 0.30. And if you start on the other side, then you would get 0.68. Like that. Again, if you got any other number besides 0.31 or 0.68, then that means you should give it another try. Now we're going to start applying these taps on real jumps. Here are a bunch of common setups that I recommend you memorize. If you have 1 block of momentum, you should do 1 unshift tap and then 7 tick. If you have 1 block of momentum but there's a back wall, then you should do 3 shift taps and then 5 tick. If you have an anvil for momentum, then you should do 1 unshift tap, 1 shift tap, and then 6 tick. If you have a cobble wall, this is a nice one where you don't have to do any shift taps. The same is true for fences, you can just run them from the back. If you have a pane, then you should do 3 shift taps and then 4 tick. If you have a block with a pane behind you, then you should do 2 shift taps and 3 tick. If you have a trapdoor on a wall behind you, then you should do 1 shift tap and 2 tick. This one is an extra special case that I added for fun that you can try as a challenge. You don't have to do any shift taps here, but you have so little momentum that you need to 2 tick at an angle and then turn after you jump. Like that. If you have trouble with any of these setups, then you can use the same coordinate trick I showed you earlier by matching the coordinates I got to see if you did the setup correctly. That's about all. See you in the next episode.